When I drove for Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, and Grubhub, the gig economy, it wasn't really building wealth. I was building fuel. At the time, I didn't fully appreciate the distinction. I was trading my time, my effort, my labor, and my energy for money, just like most people do. But most people spend their entire lives doing exactly that. They wake up, they work, they get paid, they spend the money, then they wake up and do it all over again, year after year, decade after decade. And eventually they discover they worked incredibly hard without ever actually becoming free. So let me ask you something. What would happen to your income if you stopped working tomorrow? Not next year, not in retirement, tomorrow. Would the money keep showing up or would it stop immediately? Put your answer in the comments because I think this question reveals more about a person's financial situation and their security, more than probably almost anything else could. So for me, that question, it changed everything because eventually I realized there are different qualities of income. Some income only exists while you are actively working. The moment you stop, the income stops. Other income keeps showing up whether you're working or not. The first type requires constant replenishment. The second type, it actually replenishes itself, which is pretty amazing. Once I understood that distinction, my entire financial strategy changed. I stopped asking, how can I make more money? And I started asking, how can I convert this money into something better? And that's exactly what I did. Every Uber ride, every Lyft ride, every DoorDash order, every Grubhub delivery, every dollar became fuel, not a destination. It's fuel. I took the income generated by my labor and converted it into rental properties, assets that I own, assets that produce income, the passive kind, assets that continue working whether I'm working or not. Eventually, those assets became large enough that they replaced my need to sell my time. And of course, that changed everything because the quality of the income changed. So think about it this way. If you earn $1,000 from labor, you have to earn that same $1,000 again next month, and again, and again, and again. It never ends. That income constantly demands more of your life, more of your time, more energy, more effort, more attention. But when you own an income-producing asset, that asset begins helping create the next dollar, and the next dollar, and the next dollar after that. The money starts participating in its own creation. That's a completely different game. Most people never make that transition. Not because it's impossible, because it might be uncomfortable at first. In the beginning, you're doing a lot for very little. Sometimes you're doing a lot for nothing. And that's where most people quit. I saw it over and over again. They don't see results fast enough. They don't see immediate rewards. They don't see proof, so they stop. And unfortunately, that's exactly where the breakthrough begins. I know because I've lived it. When I started building leveraged income, I was not getting paid. Then eventually I got paid a little bit. Then eventually I got paid more. Then eventually I got paid a lot. The progression looked something like this. First, you do a lot for nothing. Then you do a lot for maybe a little. Then you do a little for a lot. Then eventually you can do nothing and still receive a lot. That is the power of ownership. And that's why I believe ownership is one of the most important concepts in personal finance, because ownership creates options. Ownership creates freedom. Ownership creates real security. Ownership creates flexibility. Ownership gives you the ability to spend your time differently. So I effectively retired at age 32, not because I won the lottery, not because I inherited money, not because I discovered some great big secret. I simply made a decision that changed the direction of my life. Instead of consuming everything I earned, I converted as much of it as possible into assets. That decision compounded year after year, asset after asset. Eventually, there was enough passive income that working became optional. And optionality is one of the greatest forms of wealth that exists. Today, if I decide I want to work, I can. If I decide I don't want to, I don't have to. That distinction, it matters. It matters a lot because freedom is not about doing nothing. Freedom is having choice. Most people think wealthy people want fancy cars, and many do. But the truly wealthy people I have known value something much more important: control of their time, control of their schedule, control of where they put their attention, control of their own life. That's what all of this is really about. And that's why I believe one of the most dangerous financial mistakes people make is confusing income with wealth. Income is not wealth. Income is fuel. What you do with that fuel determines whether you eventually become free or whether you remain dependent on selling your time forever. The future is coming either way. 6 months from now, it's going to arrive. A year from now, a year will arrive. 5 years from now, it's going to arrive. The question is whether that future will reward your decisions or expose them. Will you be glad you started converting income into assets? Or will you still be standing in exactly the same place, hoping things change somehow on their own? Because hope is not a financial strategy, ownership is. If this video made you think differently about money, subscribe. This channel isn't about stock tips. It's not about hype. It's not about the get-rich-quick nonsense. It's about building a life where money serves you instead of controlling you. And before you go, I want to leave you with one final question. What asset are you building right now that could convert and replace all the time that you sell? Let me know in the comments. I'd genuinely love to hear your answer.